Good morning, everyone. Today we are going to watch another video for concept-based engineering, class number 18. I am Arvind P. Okay, today we are going to study about the topic scheduling and supply chain management. So, what is scheduling? Scheduling is something like a process which is used to arrange or control the optimization of the work and the in the cases of the production process and the manufacturing process. As you know that when there is a production or a manufacturing process is conducting, and we have to control or we have to arrange something, okay, how this work is going on or how this workload is how distributed, and how these people need to be work in a time scheduling everything. So we have to schedule everything, that is the arranging order or the controlling how the work is going on or each how to distribute the works. So we need to schedule it actually, and it is also used to locate the plant and machinery resources and human resources, and also the process of purchasing the materials actually. So we have to allocate, that is whether what are the missionaries is rated, and what are the missionary resources, and how much experienced persons is required, and is the persons working is in the skilled labors or the unskilled labors. And we have to plan it, what are the processes conducting in the machining or the manufacturing process. Okay, and also it is important tool for the manufacturing and engineering, where it can be as a major part of the productivity of a product process. Okay, so in the cases of manufacturing and the production, in a form of a production, the scheduling is very important tool actually, and also which minimizes the time and cost actually. So while doing the scheduling, we can reduce the time and cost actually. Okay, that is yeah, if we are using a skilled worker than an unskilled worker for a certain job, we can reduce the time actually. And arranging the order, we can reduce the time also. Maybe some suppose you have to make some part of a machine or a part of a product, and you have to give some surface finish. Okay, and then you have to finalize the product. So finishing the surface is actually in the last stage of the process, product manufacturing process. But suppose we are going to finish it, and then we are going to machine it over that product, and again we are going to surface finish it, and then all these require a lot of time actually. So in the manufacturing purpose, we have to save the time and also the cost. Okay, so cost, it means that it includes the staff allocation and this human resource, all this require a cost actually. Okay, now the production scheduling is aimed to maximize the efficiency of the operation. Okay, we have to maximize the efficiency and also reduce the cost. Now the schedule must portray the activities required to support the project plan actually. Okay, so we have to we have to understand what are the activities is required for a project planning. Okay, and also we need to provide we need to a network schedules actually. Okay, so we have to provide, the scheduling is provide a time scaled network schedule that define the work task to be performed. So as you know that in a manufacturing industry, there will be a lot of processes going on, and while a certain engineer or some designer is providing in a scheduling work, okay, he have to schedule each and every operations, and every process is to be carried out while in the manufacturing. Okay, and the producers a report that provide the project manager the formation of the necessary to monitor schedule status to initiate the corrective action if required. So that means while we make a scheduling, we have to report that scheduling, these are the scheduling work, these are the steps to process, or these are the steps to in a manufacturing process. So that we have to provide in a project manager. There will be some person who is known as a project manager. He will have to answer all the questions regarding this product manufacturing to the company or to the CEO of the company. Okay, so the project manager required all the reports actually. So that produces and provided to the project manager by the designer or some engineers will be which we are there, those who are conducting in the manufacturing process. So in the beginning of the starting a company or starting of a manufacturing process, the engineers will totally calculate the total work schedule, like in the cases of a time management or in the cases of a cost. All these they are collecting and submitted to a project manager, and project manager decided what are the, if any changes is required. Suppose if there is any changes is required, like in the process stages or in the time or in the labor cases. Okay, suppose he will think that okay, this skilled workers is required for that process and unskilled worker is for this process. Like way, if he thinks he can reschedule that way. Okay, and he also can reschedule the timing for the each and every process. Okay, and it provide the assistance in the implementation of the corrective action when required. So that is he need to provide, that is if there is any problem with the process or if there is any problem with the time lag. Okay, he have to assist these he have to make some corrective action. Okay, now before we can do any real scheduling, we have to know that there will be some single day, that is times up time. Okay, that times up time actually. So we have to real schedule. That means that if something like if someone or a company is starting and to start to manufacture a product. Suppose all the designs are ready and they are going to manufacture something, a product. Like suppose you imagine that a company is manufacturing a part of a car component. Suppose a car component they are making, and a lot of processes are going on and a lot of people are working on it. Okay, suppose you imagine that there is an automotive industry and there will be a car is manufacturing and all the designs are completed, and also the it is in the conceptual design and the prototype is already made, and then it is going to be manufactured, the bulk manufacture. Then the scheduling is coming to the important, because the scheduling is before designing and this prototype, all these things, scheduling we cannot implement in that effectively. But after, when we are prototype, after we completed the prototype and all the design completed, then for bulk manufacturing when we are applying, there will be a lot of procedure we have to, that is a process will be there, and we have to make some time scheduling. Okay, so first frame, then all the fittings are engines will be fitted over that body or the frame, and then some body parts will be over this frame, and then all the body parts completed, then electrical parts will be joined to this frame and this body. And in the last one will be the attaching the mirrors. Okay, or the windshield, and all the electrical inside and outside. So each it will passes through each some persons before it reaches to a product. There will be a production line will be there. Okay, each and every segment there will be some persons will be sitting there, and they are working over that the same product. Okay, so I know that you already seen many videos car manufacturing. Okay, now you will understand that there will be a lot of procedures that will be conducting over the when a product is starting to the end stage. Okay, I hope നിങ്ങൾ ഒരുപാട് വീഡിയോസ് you have already watched many videos related to company car manufacturing. Okay, the first in the beginning the robots will be conducting the manufacturing, and then later it will reaches to the human and the humans will attach the engine in a correct position. All these works will conducted by the humans only. Okay, and then so all these work schedule, so the total time for completing that product will be something like in a car, in the cases of some cars, it will be like 1 day, or maybe something like in a day of production 2 or 3 cars will be produced. So the in the scheduling is helped us to what time the and how much time is required for attaching a product over attaching a part over the product, and all these things. Okay, so we already know the client work that eats up the significant chunks of the our time actually. And but there are other sides like email and general administration work, and answering phone calls, meetings, and sending invoices, and estimating the project, and self education, etc. Okay, so that means yeah, some other works like these works, meetings and sending invoices, all these others works are already there. Okay, that also we have to accumulate this one actually. Okay, and we have to come in terms of how much time we have to spend, okay, on a daily basis, and how much time we have left for client work actually. So that means there will be some client, the client required. Suppose you imagine that there will be in a car industry, in the car industry we are the client is booked some car actually, and we suppose the car is on demand, then a lot of bookings are there actually. Then the client is required to wait for 2 or 3 days, or means maybe or 1 month or 2 months, they have to wait for the car actually. Okay, so maybe it because of the demand actually. Okay, so maybe in a when we announce the when the company is announced in a car, a new car company is announced in a automotive industry, there is a new car is coming, and all of them are going to they will produce some brochures, and they will announce some auto show, okay, about their product. And after that a lot of people will apply to or book their car actually. And the company is required to produce that within a short period of time actually. So company scheduling, companies inside they will be scheduling for the product manufacturing will be very fast actually. Okay, time for production actually. Now, the batch production scheduling is the practice of planning and scheduling of the batch manufacturing process. As you know, that the batch practice means that there will be some a product, same category of a product will be there. Like so, suppose a car manufacturing, there will be a lot of cars will be there. So this batch. That means suppose in a January they will produce a number of cars, and so January, that means that month they will produce these numbers of cars actually. Suppose if there will be some a huge requirement for that same model, then they have to produce a lot in the same month actually. So what they do is they will increases the time actually. Okay, അതായത് they within a lesser time they have to make the product. Suppose you imagine there will be some 50 cars in a month, then they if the client requirement is more, then they have to produce it more than that actually. Okay, although the scheduling may apply to the traditionally continuous process such as refining actually. Okay, so it is especially important that the batch process such as those for the pharmaceutical active ingredients, biotechnology process, and may specialty chemical process. So yeah, so as you know that the batch process is mainly for in the cases of the chemical or drug business. Okay, pharmaceutical business actually. Suppose you imagine, I mean, there will be something like a batch of drugs will be coming. Okay, so how it is, because there will be some limitation of the usage of the drug actually. So as you know that there will be printed over the bag, there will be in an, if you are taking a paracetamol, for example, a paracetamol tablet, in a batch there will be some manufacturing date to end of the expiry date will be available in the batch, that same batch. So they have to produce in the same day this much of the tablets actually. Okay, and that tablet is going to that tablet they have to produce within a short period of time, the same day actually. Suppose there will be a manufacturing date, and there will be a expiry date in for a drug in the in a backside. So they have to produce that tablet before the date actually. That means the manufacturing date is, suppose you imagine manufacturing date is 17th of March actually, March 220 2020, and the drugs usually used is 3 months or 2 months, or maybe it will last actually 1 year, up to the 1 year. So or maybe 6 months actually. So the same batch they have to produce within a short period of time. So they have to calculate this much of drug they have to produce, that have to produce in a within a March, before March 17th, okay, or the same date actually, same date of manufacturing, and they have to produce in the same day actually. They have to submit the tablet into the market with the same date itself, okay. So it is especially okay. The batch production is scheduling shares come to the concept and the technique with the finite capacity scheduling, which has been supplied to many manufacturing problems, okay. So it means that there will be something like a capacity of scheduling. It depends upon the capacity of scheduling. The batch scheduling is the batch production scheduling is depends upon that capacity of scheduling. Suppose in a drug manufacturing company, a 500 numbers of tablets they can produce, or that machine can produce in a 500 number of tablets in a single day, or in a single, yeah, in a single day there will be some 500 numbers of tablets. Suppose in the tablet, each tablet bag there will be, you can see that there will be a manufacturing date, okay. So the same date they have to produce and they have to take it into the market actually, okay. So that is why it depends upon the capacity of that scheduling actually, the capacity of scheduling. Suppose not only that scheduling, it means that it comes not only the production rate of the machine, it also comes the up to the market level, it reaches to the market level. Suppose that tablet, that 500 numbers of tablets is manufacturing in a day, and that 500 number of tablets after the QC, that it should be reached into the retailer actually, so in the distributor, and then it should reach in the retailer, then only it will work out. Suppose you imagine there will be some 10th of the March it is producing, and 15th of the March it reaches to the customers hand, then what is the use of that tablet actually? So tablets 10 days is lost now. So that is why if it is produced in a date, and then it should reaches into the customer hands in the same date actually, okay, same date or the next date or 2 or 3 days later. But it should the companies, as per the company's rule, it should reach in the same date actually. If it is given in a date, then it should reach in the same date actually, okay, right. So next one is our topic is supply chain management actually. So the supply chain management is the flow of goods and services actually. So as you know that it is a management for how it is goods and services we can provide, okay, that is in the supply chain management. Okay, it include the movement and storage of the raw materials, work in process inventory, and the finished goods from the point of origin to the point of consumption. Okay, so supply chain management is the management flow of. Okay, so as you know that suppose there will be some product, we can take it as a drug business, okay. In the drug business, that means in the tablet business, when the tablet is produced, okay, so a tablet is produced, not only the tablet, the in the supply chain management it is the materials used for the tablet, okay. We have some materials used for making the tablet, that from that materials to final product actually, The final product means that the final product and the point of consumption. Okay, up to the point of consumption, we have to some movement is going on. Like the suppose some materials, some chemicals are there actually, and the company is taking that chemicals and adding some adding that and adding in a proportional rate, and that is a raw material to the final product of that, and then the consumer taking to that. Up to that, how this goods, how this product is flowing actually. Okay, so that is we are going to study about this supply chain management. So it includes the movement and the storage of the raw material, work in process and inventory, and furnished goods from the point of origin to the point of consumption. So it interconnected the interlinked networks and channels and node business that involve the supervision of products and services required by the end customers in the supply chain. So the supply chain management contains the networks and the node of business, and also this the provision of the product and services required for the customers in the supply chain. So all these networks and all these channels which the our product is going on. Okay, our product is go through. What are the what are the network, or what are the way it going on, or our products, that all and reaches to finally reaches to the customer. That is the supply chain. Now, the supply chain management has defined as the design, planning, execution, control, and monitoring of the supply chain activities with the objective of creating net value, building a competitive infrastructure, leveraging the worldwide logistics, and synchronizing the supply with the demand and measuring the performance globally. So in there the supply chain management, there will be a designing and planning and execution and controlling and monitoring of the supply will be active. Okay, so our objective is to creating the a net value of the building, and building a competitive infrastructure, and leveraging the worldwide logistics. Okay, so all these things are conducting the supply chain management. And it's also interconnected the business. Okay, involved in the ultimate provision of goods and services required by the customer. Okay, so inside the supply chain management, some the customers need some goods and services. That all things, what are the things included for the giving a customer to a product or a service, that all things are all the way of like production and everything is coming to under the supply chain management. So supply chain management spans all movement and storage of the raw materials, work in process, inventory, finished goods, and from the point of the origin, etc., etc., that I told you. That meant beginning of the raw material, from the raw, when a company is purchasing the raw material to the end of the product and reaches to the customer, all the way of transferring everything, the transforming everything is under the supply chain management. And you can see that here a figure I am going to show you. In this one you can see that the customers are there in the last one, and it all are interconnected actually. See, from the material you can see that there will be some suppliers are there, and there will be some materials will be there, and all these are interconnected. So suppose the materials is transporting to a manufacturing, and also this farming is also needed for the manufacturing, and also the suppliers, here the electricity is supplying, and also you can see that there are some multiple arrows are there actually. You can see that, see in the electricity, for the first one you can see that the supplier side, it is the first one is showing the electricity actually, and also the second one is showing the transportation is showing actually, and the third one you can see that there will be some materials is showing. Okay, the farming or the working actually is showing, and then the finally the materials. Okay, so the supplier, it means that the electricity, that electricity is needed for the manufacture, and is the production and these manufacturing units, isn't it? So the electricity is one, that is the one of the supplier. Okay, what they supply is the electricity for manufacturing and the production. Okay, and then from there the manufacturer is going to manufacture what, something is manufactured and that is given to the warehouses actually. Okay, warehouses and distribution centers, they are providing their product actually after the manufacturing, and it reaches to the customer directly. See one arrow I am going to there, and then here the labor or the working is going on something, and it is given to the manufacturers. Okay, like it is given in a tractor, so that means this something like a farming product is given to like the manufacturer actually. Okay, and the manufacturer, what happens, it gives to the people actually. Okay, the distribution center, it is given to something like a pupil actually, and then it given to the customers actually. See, here it is given to the customers, and again one more, the tractor is going to something like yeah, manufacturing plant, and manufacturing plant is given to where actually after the transportation it is given to inventory, and from the inventory also it gives to, yeah, tablets and all these things, and or and RX. Okay, then here again the material is, suppose some material, raw material we have, that is also required for the manufacturers and this manufacturing process or the buildings. Okay, like, and then it also going to the warehouses and customers and inventory also. Okay, so all these are interconnected, each of them is passes through everywhere actually. Okay, that arrows, so all these are the interconnected, and this is some of the line diagram for supply chain management. Okay, so the organization increasingly find that they must be rely on the effective supply chain or the network to compete the global market and network economy. So the organizations increasingly find the effective supply chain. Okay, suppose as you know that now there will be a lot of companies or industries are there, and these organization, what they are doing is they are really rely on the effective supply chains actually. So they need to reduce their cost actually, cost of manufacturing, and the faster supply of their product to the customers. All these are their readiness, that readiness. Suppose you imagine that there will be something, the customer required a car, and they, when he inquired about the car into the company or the dealers, they are not ready to provide it because of something about this, they didn't get any car from the manufacturing unit. Then what happens, the customer moved to the next car, no? So that is why they won't get any orders. So that is why the company is they have to ready to production actually in a high fast rate actually, or the transportation. So that is they are very really on the rely on the effective supply chains actually. And successful supply chain management requires a change from the managing the individual functions actually. Okay, so they will conduct an individual functions and they integrate the activities actually. Okay, and for example, they are telling the purchasing a department places orders in a requirement base becomes known actually. Okay, and the marketing department, as per the marketing department, the customer is demanded something like a communication or the something like they required something, the customers required some product, and what happens, as per the customer's requirement, the marketing department communicate that to the company or the manufacturers that their requirement is this much and they have to provide as soon as possible. And now the information shared between the supply chain partners can only be fully leveraged through the process integration. Okay, so the process integration is the only way they have to the way to information supplied to the given to the chain partners. That means suppose yeah, suppose a customer required something, a car, like I'm always taking car actually as an example, but there is another products are there also. Suppose you imagine that there will be some product is required, like some yeah, some fruit products in the market, some food product is required actually, like a processed fruit, like some shortage of some onion, something like that, onion or something like is some processed food actually is required in a market, is a highly requirement is there. Then what happens that retailer will ask to the product manufacturers or the sales or the manufacturing unit about this product, and then the company's executives will announce this requirement to the company. And what happens, the company is going to start the production rate high. So they are going to inform the material supplier about this. See, we need this much amount of material for this manufacturing, and as soon as possible you have to provide this material, like that way. So all this information is passing through the supply chain partners or the supply chain management actually. Okay, so all these informations and all these requirements and all these we are recorded actually. These is coming into the supply chain management. All these things are coming to the supply chain management. So I hope you understand about the supply chain management. And anyway, thank you. And please watch all my videos. Okay. And if you like it, you can watch more. And for understand all these, I know this is a very theoretical based subject, but you have to watch and you have to understand. And anyway, thank you. Okay.